2024 has been an absolutely insane, historic year for the prop firm industry. There has been so much drama, so many problems for traders and prop firms. But the goal is to put all of that behind us and start looking towards the future. The question is, what does 2025 have in store for the prop firm industry, and how are potential changes or new trends that we're already starting to see going to impact you when it comes to your trading in 2025? Well, that is exactly what we're going to discuss in today's video. First things first, if you are not subscribed to PitMunch, I don't know what you are doing. It's trusted by over 27,000 traders. It's the #1 daily email newsletter for traders that are trying to get funded. Subscribe to that down below. Okay, first things first, we need to look at 2025 in context and with context of 2024. So what exactly happened? Well, in terms of a recap, probably the largest thing that happened was MetaTrader no longer being offered by most prop firms. This happened early on in 2024 and absolutely shook the market, the entire industry. See, MT4 and MT5 were the most used platforms by traders around the world. No firm was immune from the drama this year, and unfortunately for firms and traders, many firms went out of business. Okay, so that is 2024. So what are we seeing in 2025? What are some trends that we're already starting to see this year that I think will get larger and gain momentum in 2025? Well, there's a few that are positive and there are a few that are negative. Okay, so first things first, futures prop firms are gaining in popularity. There are a lot more firms that are launching, similar to what we saw in the Forex industry, 2021, 2022. It seems almost every day there is a new futures firm that is launching, and it seems that more traders are starting to sign up for these firms. Now, I don't think that means that fewer traders are focused on Forex prop firms, but I think they're adding it to their portfolio. Now, there's pros and cons to this. The pros are the futures evaluation model is a lot different than the Forex model. They're usually cheaper. There's activation fees. Really quite a bit different, and that's totally fine. I think that's a pro for traders. Another pro is diversification of joining more firms, having a different form of trading that you are making money from. That is all fine and dandy. I think overall that is positive. With everything that went on in 2024, traders, rightfully so, got fearful of Forex prop firms, and that's led to a lot of traders going to futures prop firms. However, futures firms are not immune from the exact same issues. We are starting to see a rise in payout denials from futures firms, issues, trader complaints, you name it, and it's going to continue and I think get worse in 2025. Why? Because there's only a handful, maybe even less than a handful of reliable futures firms. Everybody is going to be trying to get their share of the industry, so you're going to have unreliable and unprofessional firms launching, and unfortunately, traders are going to fall for it. The lesson and the takeaway here is there's nothing wrong with futures trading. However, as always, you need to sign up for a reliable professional firm that has been around and has a track record. So that's #1. #2 is kind of a wild one and was not in my bingo card for 2024, and that is firms are reintroducing 30-day time limits. Now, this is wild. When I first got funded in 2021 with FTMO, it was tough to pass because there was a 30-day time limit. You had to make 10% in 30 days. And that meant essentially that the company wanted and forced you to gamble, which I don't agree with. That's why when we launched on June 1st, 2022, the whole point of launching Lark Funding was so that there was no longer a time limit, which was not popular in 2022. Fortunate to say that now that is the norm. However, we're seeing firms play their reverse Uno card and they're reintroducing these 30-day time limits. Now, the caveat here is they don't seem to be enforcing it on all other challenge models. We're seeing some firms introduce it as a unique and specific and independent challenge model, which is creative. Hats off to these firms, and they're coming in at a lower price point, which makes sense. It's more difficult to pass, so that's good to see. But it's kind of a weird vibe going on of how traders were so thankful and happy that time limits were removed. Now we're seeing firms reintroduce them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2025 and if this becomes more common. Number 3, I think, is one of the most positive things that I expect to see in 2025, and that is that newer firms are going to launch. Over the last 2-3 years, we've seen so many new prop firms launch, but I think that is beginning to change for a couple of reasons. Number 1, rightfully so, traders are concerned about the reliability of a prop firm, and with new prop firms launching, you can't know their level of reliability when they first launch. That means that the cost of doing business for new firms to enter the market is way higher than it was just a couple of years ago. It's way more difficult to gain market share. It's way more difficult to earn trust, show and prove your reliability. And I think that this is a good thing for the industry. It means that traders are going to essentially be forced to focus on firms and to sign up for firms that have been around longer, that have shown that they know what they're doing, have proven their reliability. Now, for the Forex prop firm industry, we're going to see newer firms launch, and I think overall that is a good thing. Number 4 is another positive that I think we're going to see in 2025. I think the race to the bottom on prices is slowing down and will eventually end. When all these firms went out of business, it was so obvious to predict because their discounts were massive. They were selling a $100,000 challenge for $200, unsustainable stuff, and every month we saw 50% discounts, 40%, 30%, just insane discounts. And it wasn't sustainable. The race to the bottom was strong. It was a highly involved race, but this is slowing down. There seems to be a stabilizing in terms of fewer massive discounts that are unreliable. And so I think that that is a really good thing for both firms and traders. Number 5, this one will be an interesting one. The return of prop firms that paused operations, went out of business, so-and-so. The funded trader is a very good example of this, of they paused operations, but they are still around. They're still trying to launch. And so it'll be interesting to see influencers that were behind firms that went out of business. What are they going to do? Are they going to try and launch again? Hopefully not. Hopefully we all have learned from the mistakes of 2024. That is what I think we are going to see in 2025. Of course, there's lots of things that are unexpected that can still happen. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Drop a comment down below. What do you expect to see in 2025? Do you think it'll be a slower year, quieter, another crazy year? And specifically, are there things you would like to see at Lark Funding? Is there something you would like to see us introduce? Always love getting feedback from you guys. If you made it this far, appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.